Typical. Hello, I am BenDB Thing, but you all can call me Chandler. That's my name. And spoiler number 2, I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I am going on a mission, which is why this whole the end thing was going to happen in the first place. But unfortunately, spoiler number 3, I did have to cancel it, and I'll explain why in a sec. And if you want to, I'm probably going to put timestamps in the descriptions for just what you want to see, because I'm just about to explain why this whole thing was canceled. I'll explain what going on a mission means, and then I'll also explain what the end was going to be, and just like explain how that was going to go. Because I want to put as much out there as possible. If I can't fully finish the end, then I at least want you all to know like what was going to happen in it, you know? I'm just realizing the camera's crooked. Also, sorry if there's background noise. My siblings are doing stuff, throwing like bowling balls on the floor probably. I don't even know. All right, so item of business number 1. Why is the end of the studio canceled? Well, I mean, like, not literally, but yes, literally. Big number thing is just bad planning. Like, there's a multitude of things. I wanted to spend time with family before I head out. Just bad planning, and I just thought I had, like, more time than I thought I did. Again, bad planning. No one ever tells you how important planning is until you figure it out for yourself. Experience is the best teacher. So, what essentially happened is, about 2 weeks ago, I really finally had enough time to just like start committing on animation. And the whole thing was going to be about 20 minutes long, with an average, like, it's had mixed media and stuff, so it wasn't completely going to be animated. But all in all, it was going to be about 12,000 frames, 10 frames per second. Cool, right? Obviously, I definitely couldn't fully animate that. Sad days. So I decided Friday, after only getting 600 frames of those 12,000 done, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do some major cuts. So I decided to have one scene just be entirely an audio log, and then I was going to have another scene just be a lot more condensed. Like, take out one little thing, but all the plot points are still there. And just with that, I was able to get it down to 3,500 frames. And I'm like, that's sick. But then I was going to get a lot more animation done, but then I decided to end up spending more time with my family instead because, like I said, I'm going to go on a mission, and I'll explain what that is in a bit. So Saturday ended up being just totally dedicated to being with my family. I don't entirely regret that. I'm sorry if that's, like, problematic, I guess. I don't know. I was really having a bit hard time trying to weigh, like, priorities there. I was like, oh, I want both to happen at the same time. And it did seem like it was going to be at the same time, too. But I ended up not having enough time to animate stuff, which is unfortunate, but at least I got to spend time with family, so that was good. But essentially, that is like the big reasons it was unfortunately canceled. I'll explain more just about the project later on, but for now, what the freak is a mission? So, a mission is when a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints goes out to a foreign country or just somewhere in the world to go preach the gospel and to just teach people about Jesus Christ and about all the cool stuff that he did, and then about stuff that happened in the Book of Mormon, stuff that happened in the Doctrine and Covenants, etc., etc. And that constitutes 2 years of my life, and I need to be able to be in like a good frame of mind throughout the whole thing, so I can't animate like while on the mission. Missionary standards actually do say just like stuff that'll just like keep the spirit. And as good of a thing as it is for me to do to animate, I don't think doing it for like a channel would really fall under that. Because I'd be more worried about that than like teaching people and helping people, you know? And that's like, there's kind of a disjoint there. Now, why didn't I say that I was a member? That's kind of important, I feel like. Well, that's because it's a deeply personal part of my life, and I didn't really feel like broadcasting that out to everyone. I also just didn't want to like put people off with like, oh man, he's gonna just only be like about religion. I don't know what people are gonna think of me when I say that, and I mean that was kind of like the making of the channel, but like eventually I feel like I've been able to come to a point where that doesn't matter as much anymore. Like I would be so down to just like start a channel and like show my face and just like not have it be so like enclosed, you know. But I started just like committing to this idea of what the channel was supposed to be, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna keep this box on my face, mostly just because that's actually a personal philosophy. Like, who gets to say they get to like profit out of the face even if it doesn't look good, you know? Like, oh man, let's get to 1 million first, ha 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 ha, you know. And it's like, oh wow, they're kind of milking a little bit. I mean, like, come on, like, come on. Alrighty, but with that out of the way, let's talk about the end. So the big reason this is happening in the first place is obviously because of the mission, but also because it's the culmination of all these little teasers I've had throughout the channel. There's been a few secret videos here and there, maybe like a few like frame moments where it's like kind of weird. Lots of various little things, right, that are alluding to this idea that the characters that you're seeing are more real than they seem. Kind of ends up being like a Harold and the Purple Crayon sort of situation where like I'm going to draw them into being and they can just move on their own and do their own thing, right? I swear it wasn't really based in that idea though of like Harold and the Purple Crayon. I've never even read the book or like seen the what's his name? The poetry, my friends, poetry. The movie. I don't even see the movie. I'm trying to remember the actor name, but I can't. I'm gonna feel so dumb after this. Anywho, the end was going to be the culmination of all of those things, and the idea behind it is I would explain how it's all possible in the first place, how they're going to react to me like going on a mission and me closing down the studio, you know, like what's going to happen to them and just stuff like that. And I kind of keep it vague and they don't really trust me very much. But let's just skip the beans and rice, whatever that means, and talk about what happens. So the first thing that happens in it is I talk to the camera like, hey, I'm going on a mission. And they're going to be like in the background and be like, what the freak, man? I'm like, let's talk about it later. And they're like, okay, fine. I eventually finish recording my thing and then I'm like, I should probably talk to them about that now. And so I go to try to find them and then they sit me down and they start to like interview me. And I'm like, what is going on? They're like, hey, it's okay. We're fine if you go on a mission. I'm like, really? Are you sure about that? And so they're like, yeah, it is, but we do have to talk about something. I'm like, what is that? And they're like, we're not real, are we? And I'm like, So then it's also revealed here that they are like using their own unregulated independent voices to seem more independent. Like, hey, we're our own people, man. But I'm like, you're just drawings, man. I don't care about you as much as you think I do. And the reason that voice thing is important is just because normally they've only been using my voice when we would like, you know, film stuff, you know. Just anytime you would see a video on the channel and they're in it, that's us filming them, not me animating them, me filming them. Pretty cool, right? And they're using my voice to represent me on the channel. Oh, and just as like a brief thing, it's been Stick. He was the first one that it was Jared, which showed up in like the comics intro video. He looked stupid and dumb and stupid. And then he beat Stick up, and so I kicked him out. That was just kind of like teased throughout like various little things. And it was going to be very teased in one video that was going to explain all of Jared's lore. But that didn't end up happening either, which is really unfortunate because it was looking so cool. Then there was Dark Eyes, more commonly known as D. And then there's the new guy, and he's great too. And I haven't named him yet. But then, in this same scene back in the end, it's revealed that he named himself, and I didn't want him to. And so it bursts my boils a little bit. Who says that? I've never said that before. Who says bursts their boils? Anyways, aside from that, whatever just happened there, it's revealed that like his name is Chester, and I'm like, Chester? That sounds like another name I know. Because it's like my name. Get it? And so I'm like, well, I may as well shake all your hands, and D takes the opportunity to try to shoot me. Because it seems like things are getting too dangerous. They can't really enact this plan that it seems like they have. But then the diamond guy that you saw in the trailer, his name is Dasadesian. And he protects me, and he makes them all faint. And I'm like, haha, sick, dude. They're all tied up in a room now, and then Dasadesian is preparing this interesting little juice that apparently gets rid of their memories. And they're like, what the frick, dude? Other shenanigans ensue, and Editor is like, Chester, you need to cut the rope with your glasses. Chester's like, what? Why? And he's like, because the lines on my glasses are too soft. Yours are more defined. It's our only way out. And it's like, haha, because his line art is smoother and not as hard, you know? Get it? Which, I did have that scene in the trailer, kind of. I think I was going to change it up a bit just because it seemed way too chill. Like, it doesn't really communicate the feelings of the moment. Anyway, he's trying to get that Decidesian and is about to, like, get them and, like, erase their memories and stuff. When Editor catches the needle in his teeth, breaks it, and Justin's like, what the frick, dude? So he pounds it on the floor. He pounds it on the floor. He pounds it on the floor. Pounds it on the floor. That syringe, that was so cool. And he makes the, like, liquid flow, and he's about to, like, stab them with the liquid, and it's like, whoa, that's cool. And then Jared comes at the last moment, gets Decidesian out of there, and he's like, haha, I did. And Stick is like, bruh, you're so late. And he's like, I have demons inside me. And Editor's like, oh yeah, that's true. Do you have those handcuffs that we were supposed to use back in that room before? And Dee's like, fetch, I dropped them. And he's like, well, let's go find them then. Then what happens is, this was also teased in the trailer. Me and my brother, IRL, filmed a little scene together because we're brothers. And it just kind of communicates this message that you aren't your mistakes. I think it's a cool thing. And we actually filmed it just last night as of recording it. This was going to be a grind. Yeah. And so then I finish that off. I'm like, oh, but I have some unfinished business to do. And it turns out that I, like, just then had used the eye to see that, like, oh, wait a minute, they're out. And so in the next scene, all the characters are checking through rooms to try to, like, find the cuffs and the exit. Digital circus moment. One of the backgrounds that's teased is the intro comics thing that we talked about just before. Haha. Jared's like, dang it, this is like the place I beat Stick up. What cruel irony. Then Dee walks into the ad bunker, actually, from our streams. Oh, I miss the streams. They're so much fun. You should watch the VODs. They're pretty great. I mean, they're not kind of VODs. They're just, like, sitting there in the live category. You should go watch them if you want to. I'm there, too. And so Dee's like, what the heck? That was weird. And so they keep walking through hallways. They're like, man, this place is so long. Why didn't he make a map for this entrance? Like, I don't know. And then, like, Stick's like, why didn't Bendy just try to, like, erase our memories? Huh? Was he really in that much of a hurry? And then Jared's like, well, I mean, like, he has restrictions. He's not he's not a magic man that just does what he wants. His mark has restrictions. It's like, his mark? What? I'm trying to remember what I've explained so far now, too, just because this is my third take. Basically, it's my eye. I have this mark on my knuckle, actually, and it's the reason I was able to make this all happen in the first place, why they're able to, like, move on their own. Kind of like my purple crayon, I guess, if you want to think about it like that, although it kind of feels demeaning comparing it to another work that's similar when it wasn't meant to be. Chill. Then Jared ends up explaining, like, oh, he's also able to erase memories when you walk through doorways because it's convenient for him. He doesn't have to, like, try to, like, corner us or, like, be able to see us. If he can just, like, control the doorway, he can just do that. And he's like, oh, crazy. And I can also watch the doorknobs, which I just said and didn't explain either. Hee hee. Anywho, which was also teased in the trailer. And the idea behind that is, like, anytime I would try to draw them, or if I, like, messed up or just anything like that, if I would drag it off the canvas and erase it or anything, it would go to this room. They would all be funneled into this room. And so they're, like, looking at these, like, kind of like clones of themselves, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. He's like, he treats us like objects. And they're like, yeah, that kind of sucks. And Editor's like, oh, we should probably leave that. And Jared is, like, looking at a tally board like, oh man, there's, like, he hasn't had any copies because he's just been, like, just totally, like, trauma child did. He's frustrated by that, and so they are about to walk out of the room when it sounds like there's something in the back of the room. Chester's like, do you guys hear that? He goes to investigate, and a black hand grabs him, and he's like, oh no. And this monster appears out of the darkness. It was going to be this, like, kind of like a Reggie Gigas Rock sort of thing with, like, hands coming out of the holes, and it's like this big spider-like thing. It's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And so they're like, oh no. And so they try to get out of there, and Dee's like, we have to save him. Stick's like, what? No. And then Editor's like, there might be a way. Jared throws a knife in the eye. He's like, oh, well, that works too. Yeah, cool. And so he, like, lures the monster away, breaks through the wall, and D, through the rubble, is able to see, oh, it's the room they interviewed me in, which means the cuffs are there and his gun. And it's like, Dick, you got to get the cuffs. And he's like, oh, I got it. And so Jared ends up looping back around through, and Editor takes that moment to like grab the gun and try to shoot him, which is also that scene. And so the monster like, Rawr! And it like smacks him against the wall, and he's like, oh no. And so Jinx is like, oh no. And so he tries to like save him, and he chases him away. Chester ends up dying because he got like bamboozled by the monster. So it's like, that's sad. Dang it. I come in. I'm like, hey, you guys suck. The studio starts to fall apart. Stick like tries to restrain me, and I'm like, haha, that's not gonna work. And he's like, ah, fetch. D, you got to put the cuffs on him. And so he puts the cuffs on me, and it's revealed that the cuffs are artist's block. And it's like, haha, that's a fun joke. And then I literally have a paragraph in the script where I totally just like put on a Jeff Goldblum accent, and I'm just like, oh man, this sucks. Dang, my only ambition is the I don't know, I just say things. And so they leave. JK, actually. Most of them leave. D is about to leave when he's like, wait a minute. He watches us through the doors, and he can do things with the doorways. And he looks back, and Soup has freed me from my binds. And it's like, oh, fetch, that's not good. So I end up scaring him through the doorway. And it turns out they all, like, had lost their memories now. And so it's like a little bit after that, I'm like saying goodbye to everyone, like playing along with this charade. Like the entire studio is like falling apart, and they're just totally oblivious just because I had like put them back in their place, you know? And so I'm like, bye, and remember to stay in the studio. And it's like, oh my gosh, no, you know? It would have been so awesome. It would have been so cool. But it was not meant to be, and I'm sorry about that. Oh, and in that final scene, I forgot to mention, they have like the sanction voices again, so it's me just voicing them again. But that was going to be the end, and I'm sorry I couldn't fully make that for you guys. This channel has been lots of fun, and I'm sorry it had to end like this rather than like with this big hurrah I'd been planning for years. Just bad planning on my part. I'm really sorry about that. I've had lots of other things that I've been focusing on too. Of course, this channel hasn't been like my main focus. I feel like that's apparent throughout everything, and I'm sorry it wasn't more so of one. It's been really fun while it lasted. I'm really, really glad for the support, especially for the streams. Those were so much fun to do with you guys. I'm sorry I couldn't do that more often. I also just couldn't end up doing more of them just because my computer started being a little funky. The battery is not very good. You would even see on streams, there's multiple times where I'm like, oh man, this computer is like, oh, help me. In T-minus, like, I don't know, like, it might be 4 hours from now, I'm going to be a missionary. That doesn't feel quite real right now because I'm still just trying to focus on recording this. I hope I can edit it in time too. But that is all I've got. Stay in the studio if you feel like it. You don't have to. Like my characters. I just want to say thank you again to you all for the support and just for like just being there. It's been great. Just been like being able to make stuff, and you guys are like, hey, you made stuff. And I'm like, hey, thank you. Big thanks to the voice actors that I hired on and the music people that I did for this. I couldn't have done nearly any of this without them. I think it was so cool they were able to help me out with this. But aside from that, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to make a channel right when I get back. I am thinking of making a video release a year from now where I'm just like, hey, wow, guys, it's been a year, even though I'm like just about to be set apart. That's kind of weird, guys, right? That's going to be fun. It's going to be unedited. It's going to probably be my phone. It's going to be great. But that's all I've got for you all. I think I'm saying that for like the 4th time now. Yeah, stay in the studio. I don't know if I'll make a channel when I get back. Well, I will eventually. I feel like I like this whole thing. Maybe not right when I get back, but soon when I get back. So stay tuned for that. But don't really stay tuned. That's 2 years you're going to stay tuned for. What the heck? That is all I've got for y'all, though. Thanks again for everything, and make sure to stay in the studio. I'm going to do the dramatic YouTuber walkout thing now. I also hope this didn't feel too much like a YouTuber apology video. Y'all been great. See y'all later.